So in news cycle speak, this happened a long time ago, but we're still talking about it. Why are the Democrats still keeping it alive? Because they are more interested in using it as a club to beat Trump than actually coming to some sort of agreement over DACA. So here's the DHS secretary yesterday testifying in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I believe. And she says she's not going to talk about these comments. And then Democrats lose their freaking minds.
At any point in that conversation on Thursday, did the President of the United States use that four-letter word, beginning with S, in combination with any other words or alone that you heard?
Sir, respectfully, I have answered this. I've been very patient with this line of questioning. I am here to tell you about the threats our country faces and the needs and authorities that are needed by the Department of Homeland Security. I have nothing further to say about a meeting that happened over a week ago. I'd like to move forward and discuss ways in which we can protect our country.
Okay, and this prompts the Democrats to just go nuts. So Kamala Harris, our awful, awful senator from the state of California, she suggests that the secretary herself might be a racist, because this is what we're going to do now. We're going to race bait all the way till the end. Again, I thought Trump's comments were at best ill-advised and at worst reeked of racism. I think there's a plausible interpretation that does not have anything to do with race. I think that, in my opinion, that may be the slightly more plausible interpretation. But the idea that the secretary is racist is insane. It doesn't matter. She suggests that the secretary is racist anyway.
This is a pivotal moment in the history of our country.
Is it?
When we are having discussions about whether the people of Norway, and I will use your words, Madam Secretary, and you spoke about how they were referred to as, by contrast to the people of Africa and the various countries, the 54 countries of Africa and Haiti, and we speak of them, and you've spoke of them, according to the president, as the people of Norway. Well, you know, they work very hard. The inference being the people of the 54 states of Africa and Haiti do not. You must understand the inference, the reasonable inference, that the American public is drawing from the words you speak, much less the words of the President of the United States.
So now she's suggesting that Nielsen is a racist. So everyone's a racist, right? Nielsen is sitting there basically saying, I didn't hear those comments. Maybe she's lying. Maybe that's not true. Maybe she did hear the comments. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is she didn't say anything in this hearing that was racist, but Kamala Harris is going to keep screaming racism so that nobody actually has to discuss what to do with the Dreamers. Right? The truth is that Trump does want to talk about the Dreamers. Trump basically was willing to cut any deal that he could cut at the very beginning until a spine stiffener was put in him by Tom Cotton, as well as a couple of other senators. But the Democrats lost their minds yesterday. So Cory Booker just goes nuts. I mean, he goes full on John Lovitz acting course crazy here. I mean, Lisa's tearing him apart. I mean, he goes ballistic, and he's bad at this. I mean, really bad at this. This is not even good acting. He says he cried tears of rage. Tears of rage. I'm going to talk a little bit about tears in politics in just a second because I hate this crap. But here's Cory Booker just putting on his Mr. Potato Head angry eyes in order to rip into Nielsen and Trump.
In an Oval Office meeting, referring to people from African countries and Haitians with the most vile and vulgar language. The language festers. When ignorance and bigotry is allied with power, it is a dangerous force in our country. Your silence and your amnesia is complicity. Right now in our nation, we have a problem. I don't know if 73% of your time is spent on white supremacist hate groups. I don't know if 73% of your time is spent concerned about the people in fear in communities in this country, Sikh Americans, Muslim Americans, Black Americans. The fact pattern is clear of the threats in this country. I hurt. When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about his experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that pain, hurt, and that pain, and to dismiss some of the questions of my colleagues, saying I've already answered that line of questions when tens of millions of Americans are hurting right now because of what they're worried about what happened in the White House. That's unacceptable to me.
You're out of order. I'm out of order. This entire court is out of order. Never go full Al Pacino and Injustice for All. Never do it. It's just not good. And so Cory Booker, of course the left loves this sort of theatricality. They love theatricality and deception, just like Ra's al Ghul. They're totally into it. They love Cory Booker. Yeah, I mean, it is Tommy Wiseau level acting. Like, just look at, it's the greatest acting I've seen since I saw this.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yep, there it is. Okay, there it is. That's it. There it is. There is your Cory Booker moment from Tommy Wiseau. You did not hit me. Oh, hi, Secretary Nelson. Like, what is this? What is this nonsense? And all this posturing, if you think Cory Booker cried tears of rage, first of all, man up, dude. Cried tears of rage. You do politics for a living. You know how many times I've ever cried about politics itself? This many times. 0. I do it every day. I've been doing it every day since I was 17. People say horrible crap all the time, not just about politics generally, but to me specifically. And then Cory Booker talks about I get death threats. Yeah, I've been there. You know how many times I whined about that in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee? Oh my God. First of all, what does Secretary Nielsen have to do with death threats that Cory Booker received? I'm gonna have to hear the explanation on that one. I'll also point out here that let's say, for example, that Hillary Clinton had been testifying in front of Republicans, and they had started yelling at her the way Cory Booker was just yelling at Secretary Nielsen, right? Suggesting that your silence is complicity. Right? Going full on nut job with the Pan's Labyrinth hands up here, right? Ooh, I'm a moose, right? That's basically what Cory Booker is doing there. He does this insane routine. Imagine that were a Republican doing it to a Democrat woman. Would the cries of sexism ever stop? We're still hearing about she persisted because Elizabeth Warren wouldn't be quiet after she was told to be quiet by the rules of the Senate. And then it was, oh, she persisted. What a brave woman. What a brave woman. But Cory Booker rips this lady up and down for basically doing nothing. Right? And you know what a hero he is. What a hero. This sort of nonsense just makes me sick to my stomach. It's really stupid, and it's really gross, and it's really opportunistic. Cory Booker wants to run for president. So does Kamala Harris. Maybe they'll have a cry-off. Somebody called the ambulance. I remember because I was there and helped cover it. The bleep hole controversy continues because the media want to portray Trump as a racist, and not only do they want him to portray him as a racist, they also want to use that portrayal in order to blame Trump for any breakdown on a DACA deal. So Trump yesterday came out and he sort of clarified his policy on all this. He says, listen, regardless of what you think you've heard from behind closed doors, here's my policy. I want a merit-based system. The merit-based system is based on who is highly educated, who is highly skilled. Now, there are a lot of people who are coming out and saying, well, a merit-based system is in and of itself discriminatory because there are people from different countries who are less educated, and Trump is really saying he wants white people because white people from European countries are going to have higher levels of education on average than, say, people from Haiti. And who cares? You know, 3 generations ago, my great-grandfather came here, and he had no education, and he did great. Well, that's true. I mean, 3 generations ago, my great-grandfather came here in 1907, and he did great, too. He didn't speak the language. I'm not sure his educational level was. The difference is there wasn't a massive social safety net and redistributionist network that was designed to pick up the slack for him if he failed. The idea was that we were self-selecting better immigrants in terms of people who were entrepreneurial because they knew you come here, you're not hands in anything, and if things go wrong, you're basically on your own. Right? These are risk-seeking people who came over to the United States in an attempt to better themselves. It's not the same thing as people who are coming over here for redistribution. And even if you're saying people are coming here to better their lives, they're not coming here for redistribution, if you know there's a social safety net, that is going to change the level on average of people who are coming into the country, just the way you're going to change the clientele of your restaurant if you say that it's $100 a plate versus if you say all the food is free. It's going to change who shows up for your restaurant. There's a difference between a soup kitchen and a 5-star Michelin-rated restaurant. So the idea that you can change how the United States works and not change the nature of immigration coming to the United States, which necessitates a change in the standard that you're using for immigration, is just silly. So here's Trump saying, listen, I want immigrants from everywhere, but I want a merit-based system.
I just want to thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
Did you say that you wanted more people to come in from Norway? Is that true, Mr. President?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want them to come in from everywhere. Thank you very much, everybody.
Right, so the left should be jumping on that and saying, okay, well, there's Trump's apology, right? If they were smart, what they would say is, we want a merit-based system too. And that's why what Trump said about Haitian immigrants is so terrible, because there are plenty of Haitian immigrants who'd be great here. Right? But instead, they won't say that because they don't want a merit-based system. They do want to discriminate on the basis of country of origin. It's one of the big problems. And they continue to rip on the Trump administration as though the Trump administration is on the verge of deporting all the Dreamers. I know that's the dream of many of the hardliners in the Republican caucus and a few members of the sort of Ann Coulter, Breitbart base. But the reality is that's not what Trump is discussing right now. Christian Nielsen is the Secretary of Homeland Security, and she was specifically asked yesterday in a hearing whether the Trump administration was looking to deport so-called dreamers. These would be people who are brought here as young people through, quote-unquote, no fault of their own, and now they've been here for nearly their entire lives. Here's what Nelson had to say.
It's not going to be a priority of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement to prioritize their removal. I've said that before. That's not the policy of DHS.
So if this doesn't get worked out, and I am a dreamer, the way I'm supposed to read what you just said is this is not going to be a priority of ICE.
If you are a DACA that's compliant with your registration, meaning you haven't committed a crime, and you in fact are registered, you're not priority of enforcement for ICE should the program end.
Okay, so what she's saying is basically DACA is going to remain in place even if Congress doesn't do anything about it, which suggests that the two sides are really not that far apart on this thing. Republicans just want some of Trump's immigration priorities put in place, but Democrats have no interest in providing that because, in all likelihood, we're not going to deport these folks in any case. So why are the media going so nuts over this? Why are they going so nuts over the bleep hole comment when the policy is basically so consistent, when it appears that nothing really is going to change?